What's good, YouTube? It's the Last Senzu Bean here. Just stumbled across some Set 3 spoilers, so let's get into it. Alright, we're going to start with the black cards. First leader we have here is Mira. Black, 10,000 power. Its skill is auto when this card attacks. Place the top 2 cards of your deck in the drop area. Then if there is a green or yellow card in the battle or drop area, draw a card. When your life is at 4 or less, you may choose up to 1 card in your warp and add it to your hand, then flip this card over. The awakened side of Mira is plus 15,000 power. Its skill is permanent. If your warp has 5 cards or more in it, this card gains critical. Active main once per turn. Place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck in the drop area. Auto when this card attacks, draw 1 card.
So he's pretty good overall, but he is an android. That's a very neat thing to mention because you can use Perfect Force Cell and get a little bit of hand destruction.
I mean, yeah, if we go back to the front side, you can see that if there's a green or yellow in your battle or drop area, you get to draw 1 card, so it does work perfectly with the android theme since they are all green cards. Also, I like the fact that with Awaken, while your life's 4 or less, you get to choose 1 card in your warp and add it to your hand versus drawing 2, so that's different.
Yeah, this is really one of the big things where they're starting with not drawing 2 cards with Awaken. The one thing that the biggest problem with this card is I think it's really good because Critical is such a strong ability, but it doesn't awaken itself. So it's just constantly milling.
Alright, we're going to move on to the second spoiled card, which is another black leader. It's Trunks. 10,000 power. His skill is, when this card attacks, place the top 2 cards of your deck in the drop area. Then if there's a red or blue card in your battle area or drop area, draw a card. Same awaken as Mira. When your life is at 4 or less, you may choose up to 1 card in your warp and add it to your hand, then flip this card over. Now on its awakened side, it has 15,000 power. Its skill is active main once per turn. Place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck in the drop area. Auto, when this card attacks, draw a card. Then you may choose 5 cards in your drop area. Send them to your warp. If you do so, this card gains 5,000 power and double strike for the duration of the turn.
I think this guy's pretty generic, to be honest. Like, on the flip side, he's just there to honestly just be there for, like, an aggression with red and blue. He just mills to fill up your grave for Overwhelm, but also on the flip side, he is just there to fill up his effects.
Also, the fact that when he is awakened, you get to give him plus 5,000 and double strike if you have 5 cards in your drop area that are sent to the warp. So, I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to do that every turn, but I think if you are going in for the kill, that's definitely something to keep in mind.
These new black leaders, I like them a lot, but they're coming with a couple of drawbacks. Not with an aggro-oriented deck, not getting the 2 draws off of Awaken is going to be a little bit difficult. But gaining the plus 5,000 and double strike to put him at 20 to really close out a game is going to help out a lot.
Absolutely. I can agree with some of the points made. So we have actually another black card revealed, and we're moving on from the leaders. This is our first battle card of the new set. It's called Awakened Warrior Bardock. It is a black battle card. It's 20,000 power, 4 drop. And its skill is Overwhelm 4. If you have at least 4 cards in your drop area, you can play this card by sending all cards in your drop area to your warp. At the end of that turn, send this card from the battle area to your warp. Overwhelm can be activated once per turn. Auto. When you play this card using Overwhelm, this card gains double strike.
Overall, man, he looks good in theory, unless they comes out with something that's, like, obviously going to evolve over Bardock, or, in some way this card's going to help out. But I feel like Mira, to get that crit, is just a little bit more aggressive.
It's basically your vanilla 20k double strike with the Overwhelm. Like, it's pretty much free, so you don't have to commit much, and it comes out of nowhere sometimes. So if you're going for game, it can really come out of left field and help you out there. But other than that, I don't really see too many uses. It's all right, but it's not going to be a staple anywhere.
All right, so up next we have our second battle card that is being spoiled. It is Unrelenting Assault Trunks. It's again another black card, 15,000 power. It's an Overrealm, and its skill is Overrealm 3. If you have at least 3 cards in your drop area, you can play this card by sending all cards in your drop area to your warp. At the end of the turn, send this card from the battle area to your warp. Overrealm can only be activated once per turn. Auto, when this card is sent to the warp from your battle area or deck, add it to your hand.
Okay, so I actually find this card quite interesting, especially if you are going to be using a black leader, just because they are going to be milling 2 cards pretty much every turn. So you're essentially fueling your Overrealm for this card, and the fact that it recycles, you can just drop it for free every single turn if you want to just stick with that. It's definitely not a bad card. I like how it's a plus 5,000 as well. You know what? Yeah, I could see this playing at like 3 or 4 of.
Yeah, I think it's a really good card. The only issue that's going to be a little bit of a workaround is if you mill it, then you don't get it because it just goes from your warp or your battle area to your hand. If it goes from straight to deck to drop area, then you don't get it back, but it pretty much just refreshes itself every single turn, especially if you play it and then bring it back after the Overrealm effect goes off.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, moving on to spoiled battle card 3. The next one is Supreme Kai of Time, World's Protector. It's a black battle card, 12,000 power, and its skill is very interesting. It's a super combo. You can only include up to 4 cards with super combo in your deck. Auto, when you combo with this card, if there are 5 or more cards in your warp, draw 1 card, and this card gains plus 10,000 combo for the duration of the turn.
So this is kind of interesting because essentially for this, it's going to be like, you could, for decks, like if you're playing a red deck, you could possibly be playing up to 8 plus 10,000s, which could be very good.
Well, actually, yeah. With this now, you can essentially be playing 8 plus 10,000s for free with like any deck. Super combo is gonna definitely be an interesting ability, and I'm actually glad to see that they had something generic instead of just like the colors for plus 10,000.
The thing with these cards now is all the boost attacks and the Dodorias have been errated to be super combo cards, so you can only play 4 of any of them. The one that makes this really good is because you don't have to be below 4 health to use it. If you have 5 cards in your warp, then it's always live, which I assume these black cards will be really getting those 5 cards in warp super quickly. So these really aggressive red-blue decks that are just spamming Overrealm every single turn, all of this is going to be live, and you're going to be able to go for games super early.
All right. Moving on to the next battle card, we have Toa Reprogrammed Menace. So it's battle, black again, 15,000 power, and we have in this skill box something new called Xeno Evolve. So it's a Xeno Evolve for 4 colorless, and it's a Toa. Play this card in active mode by sending the specified card from your battle area to your warp. So I'm assuming a Xeno Evolve is almost like a warp style evolve, but we'll get more into that later. Auto is when a card evolves into this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 6 or less, switch it to active mode, and gain control of it.
So this card kind of works with the Toa that came in on the Villains expansion set, and that card took a cost of, I think it was 2 or 3 or less. I can't remember at the moment. And it same thing. It just brought it over to your side. This one, it's taking bombs every single time. Like you play that Toa, maybe grab like a small blocker or a Kaba that's not attacked yet, and then you'd evolve this, grab a bomb, and then try and go for game as much as possible.
I'm actually really liking this Xeno Evolve mechanic. The fact that you get to play it in active mode by sending the specified card from battle area to warp. So obviously you're gonna be dropping whatever warp card you attack with it, and then Xeno Evolve. You pay the 4 cost since it's already used for an attack. You might as well just send it to the warp just to drop this. Then of course, yeah, you're gonna get that ability really broken.
Yeah, overall it'd be a very good card.
It'll be nice to see. All right, moving on to the next spoiled card. We have, again, another Toa Space Time Unleashed. This is a 1-drop battle card, again, black, 5,000 power. And its skill says, auto, when you play this card, look at up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 Mira or Mass Saiyan among them, and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck.
This is kind of interesting. It's kind of like the normal 1-drop Raleigh or, the Kind Saiyan. It's just a generic search that, just kind of searches the deck for Mirror or Mass Saiyan. So it's kind of how it'll help out with consistency.
I mean, it is good, but I could really only see this being played in something that's like almost pure black, because you'd obviously want to be running a lot of Miras and Masked Saiyans. If you're kind of just splashing black into your deck, you probably wouldn't want to be playing something like this.
I think this card could be like really sleeper good, especially in the black decks, because you can get like a bomb Mira or a bomb Mass Saiyan off the search, evolve it into the big Toa, take one of their huge boss monsters, and then go into like a big Mass Saiyan or a big Mira pretty much for free. And then you at that point, like you're at least pushing for 4 damage, if not more.
Yeah, there's definitely potential with this card. I'd like to see how it comes to fruition in the future. All right, so moving on to the next spoiled card, we have a Mira. This one's called Relentless Destruction Mira. It's a 3-drop colorless black battle card, 15,000 power. And its skill is Overwhelm 3. If you have at least 3 cards in your drop area, you can play this by sending all cards in your drop area to your warp zone. At the end of that turn, send this card from the battle area to your warp. Overwhelm can only be activated once per turn. Auto, when you play this card using Overwhelm, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in the drop area.
I actually like this card because it's going to be good in any deck that's going to focus around hand destruction, or even in a sense like this card, just getting that extra just an extra card out of your opponent's hand. And he has a 15k power, so he's going to be pretty useful, and he's Overwhelm 3, so he is a very small cost just to force your opponent to neg 1, so he's going to be a very good card.
And also, again, you can see that he's an android, so he can definitely be splashed in those android decks or the cell decks, and they have perfect synergy.
These black decks that are going for this green-yellow builds, I think, are going to be extremely, extremely good. You're going to see them a lot. This on a turn 3 with the Go Tanks that discards a card, and even if you give them 2 from life, you're dropping 2 from their hand, so they basically go neutral.
It's true.
These are all facts. All right, next card revealed is Shun Shun Protector Majin. This is a 3-drop, another battle black card, 15,000 power. So its skill says, blocker, when one of your cards is activated, you may switch this card into rest mode, change the target of attack to this card. Auto, when you play this card, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck in the drop area. Auto, when this card is attacked, if your opponent's leader card is red or blue, this card gains plus 15,000 power for the duration of the turn.
So for these next 2 cards, they kind of come as a set, and I really think that in every single instance of tournament play, they're automatically, if not of 2 of each in every single side deck, and you just swap them out depending on what leader you're playing. This one, trying to attack into a 30k blocker, is ridiculous. The next one's even better.
All right, so moving on to the next one we just spoke of. It is Haru Haru Attacker Majin. So again, it's a 3-drop colorless black card, 15,000 power, and its skill is critical. When this card inflicts damage to your opponent's life, they place that many cards in the drop area instead of their hand. Auto. When you play this card, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck in the drop area. Auto. When you play this card, if your opponent's leader card is green or yellow, choose up to 4 of your energy and switch them to active mode.
So this card's gonna be really, really strong in a case of, you can tap 1 energy, summon and any 1-drop, like any 1-drop that would be effective. Tap 3, play this card, and then untap those 4, and you can keep comboing off. So in an instant, let's say you're using Kaba, right? Kaba is your 1-drop. He's gonna become 15 double strike. You play this one, you untap, you have 4 energy to keep playing with.
For this card, it's against green and yellow. It's insane. Like critical, if anything. Playing the card, getting 2 milled for black decks. It's great. The biggest part of this card is readying the 4 energy if the leader card is green or yellow. Dropping a huge turn 4 because turn 4 is one of the most important turns in the game. Playing this card, readying another 4, dropping another huge fucking target, and then just going in. Like I can't say anything more about this card. It's completely busted.
Yeah, there it is.
And we have 2 more cards still on the list. We're moving from battle cards to extra cards now. So the first extra card spoiled of the black cards is called Dark Plot. This skill states, active main, choose up to 1 battle card in your warp with an energy cost of 4 or less and play it. If you use this skill to play a battle card with Overrealm, choose up to 3 of your energy and switch them to active mode.
Okay, so again, this card's really broken. I can see it being used in a bunch of different decks, especially ones that abuse Overrealm. So you take one of your battle cards already with 4 or less, so there's still a huge variety of targets you can choose from. Then, of course, if it is an Overrealm target, you get to then ready another 3 of your energy. So essentially, this is making it a 1-drop instead of a 4-drop. So I can see this being a 4-of definitely.
With just how important like the turn 4 plays are in this game, there's so many good cards that cost 4 that you can bring out with this card. And if it's just an Overrealm, even if it's an Overrealm card, it doesn't have to be. Getting 3 of your energy back to play another card, if this is used in like the green-yellow hand destruction deck, throwing out another Go Tanks just for more hand destruction, it's scary good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and we have the last spoiled card. This one is called Time's Judgment. All right, so it's a black extra card, and this states counter attack, negate the attack, then you may place 2 cards from your hand in the drop area. If you do so, add this card to your hand.
This card's actually interesting. As a negate, this card's good, but I kind of see it as a neg too, because I wish it actually had the effect of mill the top 2 cards of your deck rather than discard from your hand. I know the mill the top 2 would be a little bit more broken, but the discard from the hand just seems like it'd be too much of a negative.
Also, because you don't get to recycle energy with this card, it won't be as good. I can still definitely see some use out of this just because you can recycle it. If, for instance, you are going up against a few heavy hitters and you do have a big hand, you can just end up negating several times and just keep pitching cards from your hands to recycle this versus like having a Weeze's Coercion, for example, where you can only use it once, but it's still ready to use your energy. It's just a matter of how much energy you're going to have for how many times you can recycle this card.
This card seems like it's almost a direct response to the big bomb triple strike 7 drops that evolve from 5 drops that are coming out in this new set, like the Ultra Instinct Goku and the the Majin Buu, the Kid Buu.
Yeah.
Like those, you need something to stop them, or they're just gonna push for game every single time they come out.
Exactly. This card can be good just in any multicolored decks as well, and you don't want to focus on one negation. You could essentially play 4 of this, and whatever energy you're left over with, you could use it as an extra negation for any reason. So overall, this card has a lot of interesting uses, so it could see some actual gameplay. So,
All right, well, yeah, that wraps up the spoiled black cards that were revealed for the first set of Series 3 Crossworlds. So we have our input on it. We'd love to hear back from the community. So just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so we can continue bringing you some fantastic content. Thank you again, and talk to you guys soon. Take care.